I am late again. Hi everyone, I'm Dr. Carolyn Lynch Parcells. I'm a board certified pediatrician who has ADHD, and as per usual, I am late again. For what, you might ask? I would love to tell you. ADHD Awareness Month. Yeah, I'm late for ADHD Awareness Month. I kind of love that a little bit, actually. There's a little, shall we say, poetic justice to it, if you will. But I still wanted to wish everybody a happy ADHD Awareness Month, and I figured in honor of that, I would also share a little bit of my story and do a few videos about me and my diagnosis and my journey, because I realized I really haven't done that yet. So I figured where better to start than actually where the name the ADHD MD came from, because no, it is not just a social media handle. It's actually a nickname that I've had for quite some time. And it all kind of originally started, or the part one of the story, if you will, started my very first year of medical school. Actually, within like the first weeks of medical school, I had an amazing preceptor who was a pediatrician in the community. So that's somebody who we would go and shadow with in their clinic and learn from them. And we went in one day to a room where there was a young boy sitting on the table, the exam table, and he was just kind of hunched over and looking a little dejected. And his mom was sitting in the chair. She looked exhausted. She looked stressed, concerned. And it turns out that this was a young boy that my preceptor was taking care of who had ADHD, and he was really struggling at the time. And my preceptor looked at him and smiled, and he said, "Well, you know who else has ADHD?" Now, I was taken aback because I had told him about my diagnosis, but I was like, I didn't give you permission to out me to patients. Like, in my head, I'm thinking this. And I'm just kind of like waiting, and he goes, "I do." I didn't know that. And I watched this little boy's face and demeanor and his whole being just light up. And he looked up at my preceptor and he smiled and he straightened up and his shoulders dropped. And I looked over at his mom, and she leaned forward and had this smile on her face, and you could just see some of the concern and some of the stress drain away. And that's when I realized, I'm gonna get choked up. That's when I realized how much our stories matter. And I knew there was gonna be no turning back from that. So I looked at him and I said, "Well, you know who else has ADHD?" And he looked at me like, "No, there can't be more." And I said, "I do." And he just got this huge smile on his face, and so did his mom. And I was like, okay, this is where we're going with this. So that's where that all started. There is another piece of that story, but I'm gonna do the really obnoxious thing of saying like and follow for part 2. Love you guys. Bye.